All right, old school NBA fans, got another video for you. This channel really is about two purposes, serves two purposes. The first one is to debunk all the junk that I've heard from the La Media over the years. Nick Wright is the main one, but there's plenty of others. There's J.J. Redick, Kendrick Perkins, Colin Cowherd, Shannon Sharp. The list goes on and on and on. You know, they'll make all these wild takes and things that are just so easy to disprove. But that doesn't matter. What matters is there's a lot of weak-minded people that once they hear it, somehow it turns into gospel and they jump on it and run with it. They just feel like, oh, if somebody said it on ESPN or Fox, it's got to be true. Well, it's not. It's exaggerated, a lot of it. And some things might be factually true, but it really just doesn't carry the weight that they say it does. The second purpose of this channel is to kind of bring to light things that, you know, would definitely be suppressed by the La Media. There's a lot of other content creators out there, you know, that are speaking up, you know, trying to fight back, the underground as I call it. The people that are in the mainstream media, the Chris Broussards, the Stephen A. Smiths, the Skip Baylesses, they just don't provide enough depth, you know, when they're having these debates, which shouldn't even be a debate at all. It should just be crushed. There's so many things that you could just say to just crush and discredit this whole stupid debate that I don't even know how it got started. But anyway, in this video specifically, what I was going to talk about is something that I don't think I've ever heard a single person bring up. And that is the 1998 All-Star Game, okay? Michael Jordan won the MVP. He was 35 years old. Now, you know, on its face, you know, maybe not super impressive, but, you know, hey, 35 won the All-Star MVP. But when you look at what he was working with and what he was facing, the numbers are staggering. That they won the game and he was the MVP. Let me get into what I'm talking about here. So of the East All-Stars, they had a total of 5 players in the Hall of Fame, but only 2 top 75 players. Michael Jordan himself and Reggie Miller. The other 10 players are not top 75 players. West, you had 8 top 75 players going up against 2. And most of them are in their primes. This isn't a situation where somebody's 37, 38 years old. You know, Kobe was young. He was, I think, 20, right around his 20th birthday when that All-Star game happened. But in that game, Michael Jordan went 10 for 18, made his only 3. He had 6 rebounds, 8 assists, and 3 steals. You know, he had a good game. Maybe not, you know, like the best we've ever seen from him, but he only played 32 minutes. He's accustomed playing more than that. But, you know, Grant Hill had a pretty decent game. You know, Sean Kemp was okay. Reggie Miller shot okay. You know, some guys did all right. But here's who they went up against. And I've never heard anybody mention this. The 1998 All-Star Game, here's Jordan's roster. Michael Jordan, Grant Hill, Sean Kemp, Dikembe Mutombo, and Penny Hardaway, the starters. Rick Smits, Reggie Miller, Jason Williams of the Nets, Tim Hardaway, Glenn Rice, Steve Smith, and Antoine Walker. Now, one reason why you're not going to hear the Nick Wrights and all those people say much about that team is because anything positive they say about these guys, that was also Michael Jordan's competition. So if you say, hey, those were some good players, well, then you can't have it both ways. You can't say Jordan beat nobody and a bunch of scrubs and then say that these guys were great players. So either Jordan beat scrubs in the playoffs and carried this team in the All-Star game, or vice versa. We know it's neither one, but you can't have it both ways. Now here's the West lineup. Gary Payton, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, Shaq, and Karl Malone. That's your starting 5. On the bench was Eddie Jones, David Robinson, Vin Baker, Nick Van Exel, Jason Kidd, Mitch Richmond, and Tim Duncan. All right? So out of all that, there's in the East, their whole careers, All of them. They had a total, including Jordan's, all 12 players, of 35 All-NBA selections out of the whole All-Star team. In the West, 100 on the dot All-NBA selections. All defense, it's even a bigger bloodbath. Jordan had 15 of the, he had 9 of the 15 All-NBA selections that the entire East had. So they had a total of 15 for the entire East, and Jordan had 9 of the 15. In the West, they had a total of 75 all defenses. I mean, talk about lopsided. You want to talk about championships? Okay. Of all 12 players in the East, they had 7 championships. Michael Jordan had 6 of them, and Glenn Rice had the other one when he played for the Lakers. 7 total championships on the whole 12 players in the East. Out West, 20 championships. So I think that's a pretty big disparity, we could say. Now, the fact that they won the game and Michael Jordan got the All-Star MVP is pretty remarkable when you think about it. Especially at that age, going up against this competition. The starting guards were Gary Payton and Kobe Bryant. That's 21 all-defensive selections, 18 first-team all-defensive selections. I mean, loaded is the word I would use. The backup guards of Mitch Richmond, Jason Kidd. I think Jason Kidd was, 8-time all-defense? Mitch Richmond's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Eddie Jones was like 3-time all-defense. He's not in the Hall of Fame, and Nick Van Exel was a 1-time selection. But I'm just saying, that's what Jordan was dealing with. And the players that he had on his side were inferior to what the West was bringing to the table. Totally inferior. And the fact that he won the game, his age, I mean, it was a remarkable display. And I never heard anybody talk about it. And again, if you're going to talk about that Jordan didn't play anybody, a lot of these players is who they played. I mean, he played Steve Smith multiple times, played him in the 97 Eastern Conference semifinals. He played Glenn Rice in the 98 Eastern Conference semifinals. Tim Hardaway in the 97 East Finals, and I believe 97 first round. Jason Williams that particular year, 98 in the first round. Rick Smits and Reggie Miller that year in the Eastern Conference Finals. Penny Hardaway in 95 Eastern Conference semifinals, 96 Eastern Conference Finals. Mutombo played him in the 97 Eastern Conference semifinals. Sean Kemp played him in the 96 finals. He never did play Grant Hill, but Grant Hill was in his division for, I think, 3 or 4 seasons. So I'm just saying, like, these are the players. When you list off the East versus the West, it's a joke to compare the two. And somehow Michael Jordan carried this team. It was just remarkable. What a great performance. Never gets talked about. Anyway, that's it for this video. It's kind of a short, impromptu one. I saw this here, and I mean, if you look at The Last Dance, you see the players. They have like a picture of all of them, but they don't really ever show the West All-Stars. I mean, just stacked, loaded with top 75 players. 8 of them out of the 12 were a top 75. I mean, 2 of the 12 for the East were top 75. You think maybe the West was a little bit better? I think so. But somehow Michael Jordan rallied the troops, put on his A game, and won the game and won the MVP. Remarkable. And don't think for a second that Kobe Bryant wasn't trying as hard as he possibly could, to show the world and also to show to Michael Jordan that, hey, he's the next up-and-coming star, because he absolutely was. There's plenty of videos on that. But anyway, that's it, and until next time.